This is Alex, Healthy Living with Alex. Today I want to talk about food and natural supplements. If you remember in my introductory episodes, we talked about the way our food is being grown and why it has become necessary to have supplements. Because in real definition, what is a supplement? It is something that adds on to what is already existing. So what does that mean for our food? It means because of the way we have been growing our food, first of all with fertilizers, we have changed the natural causes of what minerals we get into our body through food. Because when you use fertilizers, some of those fertilizers kill the natural bacteria that breaks down the soil to release the minerals. So we are ending up producing more food, but at the end of the day, that food is not of the value it was expected to be to our bodies. God in His immanence actually gave us a natural way through food to heal, to cleanse, and actually to help our body reproduce. But when we started looking for the longevity of the food, how long it stays on the shelves before it gets spoiled, and the moment we started looking at the production, how much can we get per acre, we started introducing areas that were, or commodities or chemicals that end up changing the composition of the food that we eat. The result of this is that the food therefore we eat does not do or does not carry out the purpose for which it was intended. So that means therefore, at a certain time, we must start to be conscious about exactly what are we getting into our body and what are we lacking. Because if we don't get that out, we are going to continue feeding our stomachs, but it is of no value. So I have mentioned about the growing of the food. But did you know even the storage, the harvesting, the cooking, all of them contribute to the loss of natural minerals and the food value. So what that means is, at the end of the day, we are not getting what we should have gotten from the food. It is not healing us, it's not cleansing us, it is not building us, and we end up therefore requiring supplementation. Supplementation is just to add to what we are already taking. So today, and for the last 60 years, there has been a gradual change towards getting organically grown food that does not require fertilizers, that we do not need to spray our food with pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. Why? Because those same chemicals end up changing the composition of our food. So in respect to that, a margin has grown in various countries where people are looking therefore to go back to nature and grow the food naturally with natural fertilizers, if you can call it a fertilizer, manure, so that the food content continues to feed our system, cleanse our system, help us reproduce and protect us from diseases. This nourishment is necessary. It is so critical that at certain times, if you lack it, there's going to be a problem within your body system. Your organs are depending very seriously on the trace minerals, the vitamins, all these natural substances that we get from the food. So when the body does not get it, it therefore aligns itself to be unnatural, and therefore we end up having what we call a dis-ease. When you are at ease, that's what we call homeostasis. When we are at ease, it means our body is functioning well, we are able to get the value, we are able to live full lives, we age gracefully, we are not having pains and aches, and that is what it means therefore to go for supplementation. So really, what does supplementation mean? It means, can we grow that food naturally without using chemicals? And at the end of the day, we look at what are the compounds and minerals and vitamins that are coming from those foods, and then we put them in a capsule or a liquid, and people can take it even after eating the food to fill their stomachs. So people had this distinct thinking that supplements means other products. No. We are just saying, for example, we have a very good antioxidant called beta-carotene, which we can get from several plants. And at the same time, it can come from carrots, and it's good for removing free radicals from our body. We'll talk about free radicals later and how they mess our cells. So if you have a product that can produce beta-carotene, and then you extract beta-carotene alone from that plant, let's say for example a carrot, then it means at the end of the day, somebody can take that supplement now because they are not getting what they would have gotten from the carrot, because now we are eating foods that do not contain a lot of that beta-carotene. So do not distinguish or do not try to discard or say supplements are not for you because you're eating food. Our food no longer contains what it was supposed to have, and in respect to that, therefore, supplements must come in to get what you are not getting from your food. So we have supplements that we can say are fully certified, clinically tested, scientifically proved, and actually they have been seen to be of benefit to our bodies. So lastly, I want to talk about the fact that these supplements even go through more vigorous testing, clinical trials, and requirements than normal pharmaceutical drugs. Because the pharmaceutical industry would prefer that when we have certain symptoms, we use medicines. But we all know that medicines are not natural. They only they address the symptoms, they do not address the cause of the disease. So when we are out of ease, that is disease, we might require those supplements to help our body therefore go back to its natural state. So when next you hear someone talk about supplementing your diet, do not discard it for the sake of the history or the science that we have been using, which is mostly driven by the pharmaceutical industry. Just know that supplements means whatever we are not getting from our foodstuffs, now we can get it from a supplement of that required ingredient. So join me sometimes later on to talk about exactly what kind of supplements we have in the market. As a last reminder, some people have taken supplements and they have healed from certain diseases. That is how serious and how good the supplements are. Some people do a detox. You remember I talked about detoxifying. They do a detox and suddenly the diseases are gone, which therefore adds to the value of what I'm talking about today, that in actual sense, supplements are necessary today because our foodstuffs no longer do what they were supposed to do, to nourish us, to cleanse our system, to detoxify, and finally help us live profitable lives. So I want to address that issue of the supplements and recommend to anyone those supplements that can help with your system, those detoxifiers that can help with your system, those nourishers that can help your system, so that we live a good and satisfying life. This has been Healthy Living with Alex.